Sky Squad, we are back in the building. And it's time for us to have a Ponderosa. Okay. This is a very serious Ponderosa because you guys know how seriously we take our seating charts for the reunions for any Housewives franchise that we are interested in. The reunion has become our Super Bowl for each Housewives city. And so it is very important that we discuss the seating. Okay. Now, with regards to the seating that you guys see here, this for me is what I would have predicted to be the original seating for the Real Housewives of Atlanta. However, I am hearing that this is nowhere near this seating. And so I think let me just go ahead and put the alleged banner at the bottom because nothing is solidified until we see it from Bravo or we see it on the screen. However, I did happen to check out the podcast from Carlos King, Reality with the King, today, and he dropped some interesting gossip about what is potentially the reunion setup, i.e., the seating chart. And we'll discuss the podcast momentarily. So, for me, let's go ahead and get into what the tea is. Now, again, I said I predicted this would be the seating chart because it makes the most sense to me. You would have Candy and Marlo facing off. Obviously, Kenya and Marlo facing off. Marlo and Sheree have been bosom buddies up until at least this last episode. And then, of course, in my opinion, you would have Drew and Sonya on the ends with potentially, again, that's the thing that made the most sense because Drew and Sonya tended to face off the most. So I would see Kenya, Candy, and Drew on one side, Marlo, Sheree, and Sonya on another side. Now, another possible setup that we could have seen if we wanted to take it by seniority would be Candy and Sheree sitting opposite each other because when we saw Andy post his clips from the reunion, we could see him leaning over and we could hear him speaking to Sheree, leading a lot of us to believe that Sheree had gotten the seat aside from Andy. Now, I do believe that based on the way that his video was framed, that the sides may have been switched, right? And so my belief was that it was going to be Sheree, Marlo, and then Sonya. Now, originally, I will tell you guys that I had, there was some speculation about Marlo not being there, but every outlet, Candy, everybody has said that she was there. So we're happy about that. We've got a full-fledged reunion as we need, right? But according to Carlos King, this is the reunion seating chart that we are looking at. This, to me, makes absolutely zero sense. Okay. Now, the reason why I say it makes zero sense is simply because I'm looking at the drama throughout the season. When you think about a reunion, you think about who's had the most drama, I would say on the screen and off the screen, right? And so for me, Candy and Marlo have really been leading the pack with regards to the drama, both on and off the screen, as well as Kenya and Marlo as well. However, and then you would have thought, based on the way the season has been going, that Marlo and Sheree would be seated beside each other as well. However, what we're seeing now towards the end of the season is that Sheree and Kenya are aligning against Sonya. Again, also with Drew and Sonya, it doesn't make sense that I would put Drew in between Marlo and Sonya If anything, I would have put Sonya next to Marlo and then Drew on the end. This is a very, very interesting setup here. Obviously, you're going to put Kenya and Candy beside each other because they are close in terms of like friendship. And we've seen in the after shows that Kenya has been sitting beside Sheree. So it's very interesting to me that we have Sheree and Marlo who have been seated across from each other. That's just very, very interesting to me. And so when you listen to the podcast with Carlos King, he and Kate Casey, who is also a very popular podcaster in the reality TV space, very great podcaster in this space, they sort of analyze what this may mean for Candy to be seated at the end. Now, I know a lot of people may think, and I know that you guys may potentially think that there's some sort of issue between Carlos and Candy, but I think for Carlos's part, he and Kate Casey both are advocates for everything that Candy can potentially do in the entertainment industry outside of this show. And so it led into a discussion about whether or not Candy and Kyle Richards, whose family also has a Netflix show on Netflix called Buying Beverly Hills. It's under Maurizio's The Agency, which they had been trying to get for years. I am told that that is one of the reasons for the fallout between Lisa Vanderpump and Kyle Richards initially in the beginning stages was because Lisa pitched her show, got Vanderpump Rules, and the agency did not get their show way back in the day. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I am told. Okay. Now, having said that, let's take a little listen as to what Carlos and Kate Casey had to say about this idea of Kyle and Candy potentially moving on in terms of a network perspective and opportunity perspective. And I want you guys to listen. Go listen to the entire podcast because I know some people are going to formulate an opinion before they actually hear what was said. So I want to make sure you guys actually hear what they had to say in full right here. Okay. So let's take a listen to what they had to say. Okay.
Story. There comes a point where I think the audience and the producers and the network have say to themselves, the story has been told. And I think she's been on many seasons. I think she's been incredibly valuable. But I think her story, we know it already. And I
think at this point, they're talking about Kyle. But they also talked about Candy and Kyle in this same space in terms of particularly what Kyle's family is about to do in terms of the new show, but also in terms of what Candy is doing in the entertainment industry and the waves that she is making and the opportunities that she would have to do more of that outside of the show and still have a relationship with Bravo because she has the OLG show and she has the SWV and Escape spinoff as well. So listen to as they continue.
I think we need to give space for someone else to switch it up. And I also think she should be at a point, if I'm her agent, I'm like, I think that we've done enough here, right? And there's so many opportunities that she can get beyond the show and deserves to have beyond the show. I think that there's a point where you got to close the chapter. I just watched the docuseries on Derek Jeter. He should have retired after his 3,000 pit, but he wanted to keep playing. And then he got injured. And then the team's pissed off because he got injured and he can't add any value. You got to know when to quit. Jerry Seinfeld, quit at the top. Listen, I think Kyle should go. I think she should just go out now. She's the top of her game. Like, she's done a great job all these seasons. Her family has a Netflix spinoff. I mean, you're going to go to from Bravo audience to 90 million subscribers on Netflix. She's going to go into a whole new stratosphere now. What reason does she have to be on the show anymore?
I mean, I think she makes a great point with that. And I'm not even, it wouldn't surprise me if we end up seeing Candy and Todd in the Netflix space in general, as well. Like, I think I don't want to see Candy leave our screens, but I also can see this case for building beyond the Housewives franchise, because I think there's also a question of how long can the Housewives franchise continue?
You know, that's like going from eating M&Ms to like eating a giant sized chocolate bar. Like, why would you stay? Like, I think she's done enough. She's done a great job. Go out with a bang. Go out Derek Jeter after the 3,000th hit. Stop playing. You don't need to play anymore.
So heading back into this, I think that's why they were surmising that this could potentially be, um, the network may be considering, maybe other alternatives for Candy and the Real Housewives of Atlanta. What do you guys think? This is just, again, all alleged. It is nothing to be certain about as of yet, although if Carlos King is in the space of reality TV, he does have the connections to know what might be coming down the pipe. And this could also be why Kenya said that she did not like the reunion when they initially started filming for the reunion for this season. I could see this being one of the reasons why. Speaking of Kenya Moore, she exclusively revealed to the Jasmine brand that she is still legally married and considering dating. Okay. Um, it's shocking to me that this divorce still has not gone through. What is the holdup now? Why can't it be done? She deserves to be able to move on. But luckily, and the link for that will be in the description down below, so you guys can listen to the interview on the Jasmine brand. Make sure you guys are following the Jasmine brand, one of our favorite sites here. And then, of course, Kenya is not doing too bad for herself, starring in a direct TV commercial with several other huge named housewives, one of those being Kyle Richards, who we just spoke about, and Teresa Giudice, who has been in the news as of late for her wedding and her apparent crazy beef with Melissa and Joe, her brother and sister-in-law, coming up on this season of The Real Housewives of New Jersey. So it's very interesting. Kenya is still making waves across the industry, even after having been in the reality space for so long. All of these three were on the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, and it's no surprise that they would be tapped to pick this, especially Teresa, who has a large role in this commercial. Fun fact, according to our friends over at Queens of Bravo, it says that Kyle's number is 6, aka for the 6th housewife series in the Real Housewives franchise, Beverly Hills. Teresa's number is 19 for the You've Been Engaged 19 times, and Kenya is number 93. She won Miss USA in 1993. The ad is so deep, according to Queens of Bravo. Let me know what you guys think about all of this news. Of course, thank you to all of our sources. I'll make sure I place links for each one of them in the description down below if you are on YouTube watching this. And if you're not, head on over to YouTube so that you can catch all of the links in the description. With that being said, make sure you guys stay tapped in, tuned in, and turned on to the channel. And I will catch you guys in the next